Hello world, so this is recipe for meatballs. I like regular 100% beef meatballs. Of course, we have some onion, soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, salt and pepper, and some Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. And then over here is a couple of eggs. Okay? So as we set up today, let's do a quick introduction and of course some cooking wine. So, hello online. This is all about meatballs Italian way and how I make them. I do not particularly like meatballs that are made pork with the beef. I just like straight beef meatballs. So, this is about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds of beef. So I'm gonna base my recipe off about 2 pounds. And I usually do 1 egg per pound. So we're gonna mix in 2 eggs on this one. And this here we have, it's about 3/4 of a large onion chopped up. So I'd say for each pound of ground beef, about half of a third or half of an onion. This is, let me take a look here. Not one, here it is. This is a 1/4 of a teaspoon of some soy sauce. I had to look, oh, not that one. I had to look at my measuring spoon. And then this is 1/2 of a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. And that's let's see what that is. That's a little bitty one. That's it. A 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. Flavor as you like, you know. Don't be shy about the salt. And then the breadcrumbs, I like about a 1/4 of a cup, maybe a little more per pound. So that's about a 1/2 a cup, maybe a little more of Italian breadcrumb, Italian style breadcrumb. Basically take all that, and I did wash hands out. Hands are all washed, all good. Everything in here. And get all that good business in there from the egg. Guess I need a little, there we go. Get all that onion in there. Just kind of sort of pour that soy sauce, maybe spread it out just a little bit so they can get a little bit more in there from that soy sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Put that in there. And breadcrumbs, bring them all in there. And that salt and pepper. Okay, I'm just gonna mix them a little bit. Yeah, I think it's kind of mixed in there. And I'm just gonna shake them in there. And of course, a little bit of dry wine, a white wine. Nothing too sweet. If you're ever unsure, you know, always drink a little more of it. I mean, cook with a little bit more of it. I just used a white wine there. You need to make sure you stay focused with your cooking. And I dive right in. I've washed, I've sanitized. If you want to use gloves, great. But these are just going to go in here. And you're going to thoroughly mix and turn every bit of this until there's no distinction of what's in there except beautiful beef meatball fixings. Turn and mix. Okay. We're not there yet. Keep mixing. Get the stuff off the edge. Beautiful thing about the egg and the breadcrumbs, they will give a nice consistency to keep this together and not really chunk it apart like ground beef likes to do. You know, I like to kind of break apart from itself. So egg and that breadcrumb really lets it stick together. Okay. Let me see if I can do this somewhat. Got me a clean towel, so I'm gonna try to somewhat make this where I can use it. I'm not gonna use my Valentine's towels. I'm gonna shift over here. Use my elbow for that because these are still contaminated with cooking stuff. Bring my pan over here. Now, I like my pan on my particular. I like to use the drain pan, and I bake these. I like to bake them. I like to let it drain. They're really lean, all 100% beef, and put them in there. I have pre-greased this pan here, so we don't get too much of it sticking on there. I like to go ahead and try to keep it clean by putting some aluminum foil in the drain pan. That's just a cookie sheet. I particularly don't like my meatballs, make sure I get a good shot on this here, to be too big. So I pull about the size of a pool ball, a little bit smaller than a tennis ball, and that's the size that I prefer because they're going to cook down about a third of this, and so that puts you in the size of maybe, you know, a golf ball or a little bigger. I like my meatballs a little bit bigger than a golf ball. So here's mine. Here's my technique. I like to roll, smush, roll, smush, roll, smush. I get a good, look at that, no separation, beautiful. Onions all in there, nice and baked. Okay, now, mi esposa, my wife, Jackie, she likes meatballs a bit smaller. So I'll make about, I'll make some of these about this size because I know they're gonna smush, roll, smush, roll, smush. So you get a good compact meatball. I'll make about half of these that are a little smaller because she likes a little bit smaller meatball. In there. Try to do this a little faster for online, whatever this is, Facebook. This one's a little bit bigger, but it's going to cook down. It's going to be great. If you're ever unsure, smush it a little bit more. Get it to all nice and together. Go there. Now I'm going to go ahead and make some of these other ones a little smaller. I guess you'd say this is the size of a little bit smaller than a cue ball. Smush, roll, smush. Bake these at 350. Start at about 30 minutes. I'll stick a knife in them after about 20 minutes or so. See how they're doing, because some of the smaller ones may cook down a bit faster. Get that a little more round. Let's see if we get this one. This one wants to come apart a little bit, so I'm going to smush it together. There are so many ways to do this right. I guarantee you this is a good way to do it. When in doubt, add a little wine. And when in doubt, add a little bit of salt. You're already eating ground beef, so it's not like you're going to be eating really healthy on this particular. There. And if you follow this recipe now, this particular time, I did not have a good chunk of garlic on here, but with any of these, I'll add 4 cloves of garlic. About 2 cloves of garlic per pound. I know, that is absolutely sacrilege. I forgot it, to be honest with you. I think we have some in the fridge, but I forgot, so I was a little excited about the onion because I had a good chunk of onion there. And when I get these set, I've got just a couple more, so you know what, y'all can just bear with it. This one's a little smaller. Try to get a few smaller ones in here. space them out on that pan a bit. We're gonna we'll probably get one. Yeah, we get two more. We got two more in here. So that's 10 meatballs. It's 4, 8. Oh wait, no, that's 9. That's 11 meatballs. It's 8 and 3 is 11. Not quite the baker's dozen. Squeeze it, roll it. Squeeze it, roll it. Right, get that out there. Last one. Get all that good onion out of the bowl there. Try to get all that onion. Don't waste any of that. Squeeze that, roll that together. Of course, we'll have one of these will probably go to the dogs. One of these will be a test. My taste testers, the dogs. Some good beef right there in that. Put this in there. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a wipe down there. Let me get a. Make sure you really keep yourself focused. So a lot of concentration in this game. So this right here, we're gonna go for 350 and about 30 minutes. Okay, let's see if I can do this again. I'll follow up with a little done video. Get them done. All right. Online, world best meatballs ever. Add more garlic, add more onion. Can't go wrong with either. All right. The key to holding them together is egg and the Italian seasoned breadcrumb. Other than that, simple. I like 100% beef. Enjoy. Put these in the oven. See them in about 30 minutes. Enjoy.